Both of the films that are going to be compared in this comparative study will be Goodfellas and The Irishman. Both films will be analyzed using the film focus of auteur filmmaking and using the cultural context of social and historical viewpoints. The question being asked of the film is, how does Scorsese's depiction of the gangster life differ between Goodfellas and The Irishman? Goodfellas, The Irishman, and other Scorsese films ask a question that is extremely old to mankind. Why should you live a moral life if there would be no negative consequences to your actions? First asked in Plato's Republic, this question brought up in the films will further the question that we asked ourselves in the beginning. In Goodfellas, Scorsese uses freeze frames to address the change of Henry Hill's status in his environment. He is introduced with the iconic,
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
then we are transported back to his childhood, where we see his change from a boy being beat by his father, finally becoming a gangster.
One day, some of the kids from the neighborhood carried my mother's groceries all the way home. You know why? It was out of respect.
Throughout the film, the gangster life is extremely sporadic, and even at the end of the film, when a close friend of Henry's is killed, and he is turned on by the family, he laments how he'll never be part of the lifestyle again.
Your Honor, I have a document that I'd like to have marked.
See, the hardest thing for me was leaving the life.
As Goodfellas introduces the main character as a child, it is extremely more youthful and exuberant in its portrayal of the gangster lifestyle. Compare this to The Irishman. In The Irishman, there is no flashback to when Sheeran was a boy. He's not seeking out the mafia lifestyle, as he only does it to support his family.
Amen.
Only thing is, you got more kids, you gotta earn more money.
There are freeze frames, but Scorsese uses them in a different way from the Goodfellas, by showing the day the person died and in what violent way. Throughout the film, when suave characters are introduced, their fates are sealed. Throughout the introduction of the characters in The Irishman, the gangster life is no longer something romanticized, but the harsh reality is shown. Even throughout Frank Sheeran's story, this is shown. Henry and Frank Sheeran's similarities and differences ultimately show more about the two films. For one, Henry Hill never kills anyone, instead actively helping people throughout the film.
First time I had ever seen anyone shot.
Although he steals drugs and commits heinous acts, he never actively plays a role in someone's death by fatally killing them in any sort. In this way, he is able to flee the lifestyle perpetually with his hands clean. Goodfellas offers a moral escape for Henry, without death. In The Irishman, Frank Sheeran is the exact opposite of Henry Hill's character. He is more calm than Henry, more quiet, and a true killer at heart. He lacks the independent nature that Henry Hill has,
You got orders, you follow them.
and is always seeking for a master to serve, if that be Hoffa or Russell, which is shown in the examples here.
Would you like to be a part of this history?
Yes, I would. Whatever you need me to do, I'm available.
And the multiple allusions to Patton.
Thought I was talking to General Patton.
Sheeran has no qualms without killing throughout the film, while Hill has physical rejections to the idea of death.
Hey, Henry, hurry up, will you? My mother's gonna make some fried peppers and sausage.
Henry, what happened?
You got him in the foot, Tommy!
Sheeran is accustomed to it. Throughout montages and narration, we are shown how comfortable Sheeran is.
You did the right thing. You got rewarded.
Even throughout the film, we are shown Sheeran has a stutter.
I don't know. I mean, I work hard for them. You got orders, you follow them. They tell you to bring some prisoners into the woods, you know, and then they don't tell you what to do.
Yet in the act of killing, he's in control, as seen here.
But not the noise a 45 makes, because that makes too much noise, and a patrol car can hear it a few blocks away at least.
The differences in attitude about violence in the main characters paint a different picture of the average life of a gangster. As Hill gets away with his life with all the sins he committed, he has no real regret, as shown by his speech.
I would go out and rob some more. We ran everything. We paid off cops, we paid off lawyers, we paid off judges. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. And now it's all over.
Sheeran, on the other hand, grapples with the carnage that he has left behind, although telling the priest that he feels no remorse.
Any remorse for the families?
I didn't know the families.
His outreaching to his daughters paints a different story, and his journey trying to become faithful betrays the idea that he feels no regrets. Ultimately, his betrayal of Hoffa weighs on his soul. It is important to point out how in this analysis, the lifestyle has been referred to as the gangster lifestyle, as by technicality, Sheeran and Hill could never be part of the family.
Wise guys. But Jimmy and I could never be made because we had.
They are instead forever outsiders of the group. They are always doing some higher-up's bidding. Henry is able to act with some agency throughout the film, running roughshod, while Sheeran is much more of a lapdog of Russell. He does not even need to be told his orders. From a simple look, he knows what his mission is from his superior. Going back to the question of Plato and how it is important for the gangster lifestyle, it gives an expression of an unbalanced life. As Plato describes that to live an unbalanced life is to commit to a hedonist lifestyle, as Henry does throughout the film. He sells drugs, does drugs, cheats, and threatens his wife on multiple occasions, as he would have what Plato would call a soul cancer, as he's unable to live morally. Yet for everything he has done, he simply leaves the life. Hill manages to break the laws of society and the laws set by criminals. When he goes to see Polly about dealing drugs, he's not whacked but let go. Now compare this to The Irishman. When Sheeran is asked
Bombing out a laundry place.
he accepts and is brought to a conflict with Angelo Bruno, who would have him killed. In The Irishman, there is no forgiving nature other than God, which springs from Scorsese's escalational nature. The gangster lifestyle is much more mature in The Irishman, instead of the do anything and get away with anything nature of Goodfellas. There are key similarities in both of the films that occur in both. For example, the long shots in both of the films. In Goodfellas, it is the iconic Copacabana, the Steadicam shot. Now compared to the Steadicam shot in The Irishman, there is no inviting romance with the flashy lifestyle of who Henry Hill and what he represents. There is just an old broken man, as it establishes itself in an entirely different tone about what the gangster lifestyle is in The Irishman. Both of the films feature women and families, as Hill and Sheeran both have daughters. Both have marriage troubles, yet Hill, even with his domestic issues, his wife truly loves him, and from what could be gathered, he loves her in his own way. His daughters are never shown in any other light except ecstatic to see their father.
Oh, we missed you. You here to stay? Did you see our pictures? I just
Especially when he comes out of jail. Now compare this to The Irishman. Sheeran actually gets a divorce in the 50s.
No time is a good time to leave your wife. But that's when I left mine.
Which was extremely rare at the time. His first wife has very little lines of dialogue, and in Goodfellas, in which Karen has her own narration and has her own agency,
but still I couldn't hurt him. How could I?
For the most part, in The Irishman, there is none. The Irishman brings an irony to the gangster lifestyle. As he works for a mob family, there is a truth to be seen about how crime could hurt a family, as it does to Sheeran's. His nature of being a cold-blooded killer is reflected as a foil to his daughter Peggy, who stares at him judging who he is. The gangster lifestyle that Sheeran has done.
He fired 3 shots. He hit Joe twice, and he hit his bodyguard, Pete the Greek.
Again, we see in The Irishman a much more mature take on the cost of being in the gangster lifestyle, and its toll on family, something that is taken for granted in Goodfellas by Henry Hill. Throughout this analysis, the idea of The Irishman becoming a much more mature take on the question asked about the gangster lifestyle, The Irishman in a way becomes spiritually intertwined with Goodfellas, as it is much more mature Goodfellas. It has a slower pace and less camera movements, allowing the audience to reflect on the actions taken by the character, instead of the flashy lifestyle that's portrayed in Goodfellas. Throughout its differences and similarities, The Irishman and Goodfellas portray the gangster world different, as one deals with the useful, almost as if Hill was a cowboy out in the West, while in The Irishman is much more reflective on the toll that is taken by the line of work Sheeran has chosen, and its violent nature is not romanticized throughout the film, compared to Goodfellas.
And now it's all over.